listening to Queen with Standards, the podcast where we discuss all things relationships and inspire you to become the absolute best version of yourself along the way. Whether you're struggling through a relationship, trying to heal your heartbreak, or just want advice on everyday dating habits, this is the place to walk by faith, recognize your worth, and own your standards. I am your host, certified life coach and relationship expert, Jonte Rashawn. Now let's get started with this week's episode. Welcome to another episode of the Queen with Standards podcast. I am your host, Jonte Rashawn, and you guys know here on the Queen with Standards podcast, we talk a lot about relationships, but how many of us know that the most important relationship we have is the relationship we have with ourselves, right? That's the most valuable relationship. And the biggest part of that is self-care. Joining me today for part 2 of this 2-part series on mental health and self-care is health and fitness expert and entrepreneur. Please welcome Anabell Browne.
Thanks so much, Jonte. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for coming. This woman is absolutely amazing. I know firsthand, but you're going to learn so much more. So let's just dive right in. Please tell us about your journey to entrepreneurship, because we talk so much about goals and establishing goals. A lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, but even taking that step is scary. So tell us what your journey was like and how did you come to where you are today?
Yeah, so it's funny because I've been in the fitness industry for about 14 years now. And my first real job out of college was like something that I went to for my field to study, which is like mental health, pretty much. And so I did that. And it was this place called Rehabilitation Opportunities Incorporated. It's ROI. And basically I was managing a group of 30 participants, which is what we called the people that came in to work with us. And these participants basically had cases from being autistic, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, all this stuff. And at the same time, part-time, I was working at a local gym. Back then, it was called Bally Total Fitness, which no longer exists.
I remember that.
So if you remember Bally's, you kind of know, like, Bally's was really, like, hardcore. You had to work for everything that you got. Like, so we worked at Bally's from 5 a.m. to about 8 a.m., and then I would go to my real job, ROI, from 8 to 5, and then go back to the gym from 6 to 10. And after doing that for 3 months, I was like, yeah, this is not my life. This is not my life.
Wow.
I ended up getting my first paycheck from my big ROI job. I was so excited, and I couldn't even fill up my gas tank. Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to pause right there really quickly because you said something that was really key when you said like 3 months and you knew like, this is not it. I love that because, most people go years and years before they get to that realization.
Yeah. Yeah. I think really, also really tapped in with myself, like what I don't like. And I'm just tapped in as an individual. And one thing I do know about myself is that I do not like being told what to do.
Entrepreneurship is the key to that. Right?
So, I was just like, you know what? It'd be great to not have to ask for permission to do certain things. Exactly. So I actually worked at Bally's for about 2 more months after that. So 5 months total. And I finally got my certification to be a certified personal trainer. And then I got a promotion and they wanted to relocate me elsewhere. And when I realized that they wanted me to become, something more than a trainer, that's actually when I realized my worth. I said, if these people are promoting me after a few months that I just got my certification, they're onto something. And so when I said, I quit. And that's when that happened. And then really, that's when I started my business. And I had no idea what I was doing at all.
Wow. No, but that's really amazing because, this is Queen with Standards, but you really embodied that. Like you really had to step out on faith. You really were like, I know my worth. You want to promote me this fast? Guess what? I know what I'm getting ready to do. So How long have you been in business for yourself?
I've been in business for myself since 2010. So what's that? 12 years?
11 years.
Yeah. 11, 12 years. I think although I didn't really have a plan, it was one day at a time type thing for me. I mean, I went to school for rehabilitation services, and my focus was mental health. I mean, really all is required to become a personal trainer is a certified personal training certification,
Yeah.
maybe a few specialties if you kind of want to go above and beyond. But back then there was no real personal training institution that really just focused on that.
So a lot of people, they struggle to find their purpose, myself included. Again, 20 years in corporate America, and you wonder, like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Just working at Bally's for that, 5 months? Did that really jump out to you? Like, this is it?
I didn't think at the time that this is it. I just knew that, Bally's was taking a lot of my money. I was working way too many hours to be getting what I was getting in return. And for me, that said a lot. That said, like, I'm really just working for the man, so to speak. And I'd rather I'd rather just be killing myself and getting full profit than killing myself and getting maybe not even a third of what I was getting. So for me, it was like no brainer.
And, your ability to just jump out is super amazing to me. And another example of that is this pandemic. You reinvented yourself with the future of fitness, right? So talk about that and how you came up with this idea and how it's going.
So it's going. And basically, there was really no choice. When the pandemic hit, to be honest, I lost a lot of my business. My main source of income was private personal training, high profile clients. And I have some that I can't even speak of because of the confidentiality agreements and stuff like that. But besides them, I had probably 9 private training clients. And that's not a lot, but when you're seeing those 9 people 3 to 4 times a week, that adds up.
At a good rate.
Absolutely. At a personal training rate.
Yeah.
And on top of that, as you know, I was also hosting 16 classes a month at a studio that no longer exists because of COVID. And for me, that was actually my part-time side hustle, so to speak. And that, looking back at it and looking back at everything I was doing, that's a lot. I was doing a lot. And I think, trainers nowadays, they do those 16 classes a month and that's all they do in general.
Right.
And so, I used to commute back then to go to people's homes. And so when COVID hit, dynamically enough, what was keeping me going as a side hustle, those 16 classes, ended up keeping me afloat during COVID. I lost all of my private training clients except for
because of COVID.
And that's fine. And then I actually had to pivot my online studio classes to online, either live stream or on demand. And that was challenging. I mean, Jonte, I can't even begin to tell you the stress that it took over my body. I was put on muscle relaxers. I was put on anti-anxiety medication and depression meds because the level that I was exerting with, filming by myself, getting someone to edit my stuff, coming up with different strategies. And me, I'm a trainer. I just focus on training people. I'm not the logistics and computer and editing, none of that. And so for me, I had to outsource people to help me. And then, it led to other things, which were blessings in disguise. And it forced me to get out of my comfort zone to do things that I wouldn't normally do rushing. It made me rush doing things, which leads me to my kettlebells. But it was a struggle and I did it. And it got done. But that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my entire career, to be honest.
With you saying that, I have this moment that I do in the show. It's called the faith moment. And I was saving it for later, but you just totally touched on it. It's about a time in your life where you really had to barrel down and rely only on your faith to get you through. And that's your moment right there, right?
It is my moment. I think when I think about the obstacles that I've overcome, it's nothing but faith. It's nothing but believing in myself. Because there are a lot of people, I always like to brag, like, you have to be your own biggest cheerleader. You have to be. Because you know your worth, you know your passion for whatever you're doing. No one else is really going to be able to understand it like how you understand it. So you can't expect other people to pull you out of things, guide you through things. motivate you. The discipline has to be instilled. It has to be strong. It has to be you're believing in yourself. And regardless of what you go through, you're going to expect obviously to go through things, but faith and believing in yourself is what really, really got me out of that. And it's still continuing to kind of get me out of it and, keeping the momentum going. So it's definitely faith. It's definitely believing in myself.
I love that you say that, because that is absolutely everything. Because people you love, they're not always going to be in your corner. They may love you, but they don't really get it. So if you can't dig into yourself and get yourself into the right mindset to push through, there's no chance, right? And so you're just talking about stress and depression and all these other ailments that have come about in your body. And I know so many women can relate to this, myself included, because the pandemic it's thrust us into areas and mindsets that we had no idea that we had. Tell us about the role that you feel like fitness plays in helping stress and depression and all these other things.
Okay. I think initially the trainer side of, and I'm just to be real, the trainer and fitness professional side of me wants to say it really helps with your dopamine levels. That's your happy hormone, feel good hormone. It helps with getting a sense of routine going to kind of help align your schedule a lot better with planning. The benefits come with, feeling good, looking good, obviously close.
Yeah.
But then having experienced it myself with depression and being on meds, I could not physically work out. I could not physically eat clean. I couldn't do any of that, even if I wanted to. And I am honestly the most disciplined person I've ever known.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, really having my first time go through that, it's real. And people can preach and say, fitness is this and that. And it is this and that if you're not in that state of mind. Once depression takes over, that's real. And so there are avenues that I think people can take with maybe getting a therapist that is non-biased, just getting someone to help using their resources that they have, maybe hiring a nutritionist to help them through that with people who are familiar with the drugs that are in your system. Some of the drugs, help you gain weight. They help you build this water retention that you just cannot get rid of. And that's what I'm struggling with now, actually. Yeah. And so fitness does go a long way with mental health. It always has gone. But when depression and all that is involved, it's so much more complicated than what, it's not just black and white. It's really just gray areas. And there's not one correct answer for that. It's with, using the resources that you have. And a lot of us don't even have resources. So it's a really sticky area to touch on.
It is. And let me just say that I really appreciate your transparency, because this is going to help someone 100%, because so many people that I even know, sometimes just being in here and listen, I stepped out into entrepreneurship. I did not intend on being a mom to kids at home for a year. So that's added a whole nother layer. And sometimes when you hear from people like yourselves who are being transparent, and that you're not alone. So that's such a helpful thing. So
absolutely.
Talking about eating healthy, I myself have gone through your Get Fit program, which is amazing, by the way, shameless plug by me, right? There's a lot of emphasis placed on the food and what you eat. And some people don't get that. They're like, oh, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, but I'm not changing my diet. So tell us a little bit about the importance of the diet.
Yeah, your diet, your nutrition is really what fuels your workouts. It really supplements your body to be able to exert the energy that you need to go through those workouts. So, if you're running 5 miles one day or doing a HIIT workout another day or kettlebell training one day, and you're eating grass and lettuce and cabbage and drinking juice, or not eating, or eating poorly, you're really doing some disservice to your body. It's like kind of like yo-yo dieting on a diet, right? And no one wants to reap the best benefits when it comes to physique transformation, not just weight loss, but maybe building muscle, maybe bringing the waistline in, maybe getting rid of some cellulite, maybe rounding your legs up, lifting your butt, all that specific stuff that we all want. You really, really need to focus on your nutrition. And that comes from, lean proteins, which help elongate and lean out your muscles, complex carbohydrates. Some people are afraid of carbs. Carbs are good. We need carbs to build muscle. to build round, lean, feminine muscle, and also fats. We need fats. And so I think that's really important with really what your workout, gives you. You cannot out-train a poor diet at all.
Oh my God, that's great what you just said. You cannot out-train a poor diet. I absolutely love that. Along with the fact that you said all the things, the curvy things that we want, right? So we know now what we do need to eat because you just laid that out. But what if you had to think of one thing that we need to like cut out if we want to try to get on the path to being healthier?
Mm-hmm.
What's the one thing you would say?
I would say I'm going to list one dish.
Mm-hmm.
Cut out the pizza. Pizza because, it's flour, it's tomato, which is very acidic. So sometimes it may trigger some acid reflux. It's dairy, which also, a lot of adults walking around not knowing that they're, dairy doesn't feed their fuel, is a disservice. Some people are lactose intolerant. They don't even know it. And so I think pizza, cheese, anything like that,
you cut it out, say goodbye. What's a healthy alternative? There's no healthy
I wouldn't even say cut it out. I would say have it in moderation.
Oh, the cheat meal. I remember that. The cheat meal,
like
right?
Treat yourself to that. You're not going to eat that every day. It probably wouldn't be the best idea.
For sure. Okay, now let's go back because you are sitting by this beautiful kettlebell that I also have. Yes, I have it. It's sitting over there. I can't pick it up with one arm, which means I'm out of shape. I'm like, why can't I pick this up with one arm?
I think you bought a heavy one.
I did. They were sold out of the other one. So I was like, I need to get the heavy one.
I know.
Yes, which is a testament. Clap for you on the sellout of that. But please tell me how you came about it, because that is taking entrepreneurship, in my opinion, to the next level. So how did you come up with this idea?
Right. Okay. So yes, these are our beautiful signature hot pink kettlebells.
Beautiful.
So basically it brings me back to when we just hit in March. And I was sitting there, as you know, taking it all in, internalizing the fact that, wow, I really just lost my business. And for me, I took that really, really personally because I worked so hard, so hard. I could say this is the first time where I feel like I made it in business.
Wow.
And then boom, as soon as I said it, it went away. Wow. And for me, I took that really, really, really hard. And I literally woke up at 3 a.m. and I said, and now this has been brewing for 10 years. Okay. I just want you to know that. Mm-hmm. The pandemic really forced me to push this product through and actually go into the manufacturing field because I saw that this was going to be my way, my new means of income.
Yeah.
Gyms were closing. Equipment was scarce. No one, people were selling 5-pound dumbbells for $120. It got crazy. There was no equipment. No one had equipment because everything sold out. Everything sold out. Yep. So I said, this is my time. If I'm going to do anything, this is my time to do it now. And that's what I did.
This is why I keep saying that mind of yours. And that was nothing but God, because when you are tapped in, something that seems like a bad situation can really push you. Because when you said 10 years, that really resonated with me, because I always say my book was 10 years in my mind and in my heart. And then once I was on, it took me 4 months to write it. And so sometimes you just have to be pushed to that next level. And I just I love that.
Thank you.
So I want to talk a little bit about, because of course it's the Queen with Standards podcast, about relationships. And you are a beautiful... You are a beautiful, single, successful woman. What has dating in 2021, what has it been like for you?
It's been non-existent. And that's just being honest. No dating sites, no meeting anyone. Obviously, we're in quarantine still. As I mentioned before, the only clients that I still had were my private clients were 84 years old and 78. And, those are the only clients that I've seen. So for me, it was really important to not be exposed to anyone, just to have a date just because I was bored or entertain anyone. For me, it wasn't worth it. I really, I'm in the health and wellness field. And for me, I'm taking COVID very seriously. And for me, that means protecting my clients, my older clients, which, by the way, we are all fully vaccinated now. But
I love it.
Yeah, we're so excited about that. But I'm still really being careful. I honestly believe that I am not able to entertain a relationship if I'm not feeling my best. And as you know, I mentioned earlier that depression hit me. I'm just now getting off my meds. I gained 35 pounds, believe it or not. And I'm
I
really,
definitely can't tell looking at you.
well, thank you very much, but it's real. And I'm a short girl, and I am the heaviest I've ever been. And I'm really, as a just a person, not even as a trainer,
Yeah.
really struggling with the idea of that. And so I would never in a million years right now where I'm at entertain anything. And so I feel like, maybe when I feel my best again, maybe when getting back to normal and feeling good internally and physically, then maybe I will do that in the future, but not right now. I'm not in a rush to do that.
And that's a great thing because I really talk about that a lot, how important it is to work on becoming the best version of yourself before you even think about dating or looking for love or marriage or all those things. Because what can you bring to the relationship when you're not happy with yourself, right? We train people how
Exactly.
to treat us. And if we're not feeling our best or we're not taking care of ourselves or we're in a place where we can't be the best version of ourselves, then what does that do? It invites people that think that they can do the same thing to you. So that's an absolute
Exactly.
great stance to take. Now, but when you do start
Thank you.
dating, what is the one thing that you're like, at this point in my life, as hard as I've worked to be successful, this is the one thing I would, without a doubt, will not accept?
Someone who is dishonest. I really take pride in knowing that I am really an honest person. And I always like to say that I'm never going to lie to someone just to spare their
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say what I'll say. And if it hurts their feelings, it's my truth. And of course, saying it in a nice tone, but I just feel like if I'm giving you that energy to always be honest
Yeah.
with you, then that's definitely what I expect I actually don't expect anything, but if I find someone that's being dishonest, that just says a lot about someone's character. It's really hard to trust someone after that, I
Oh,
think.
you're nail on the head. I think that's number one, that they can't be honest and how can they be loyal? It's all linked together.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
honestly, in 2021, what do you have to lie about? There's so many different things that
Right.
are accepted and acceptable nowadays. Like, don't even
Yeah, right. Just let's be honest.
lie.
It costs nothing to be honest.
Absolutely. Well, Anna, you know what? This has been a great conversation. I'm so glad that you're here. But before we leave, I want you to tell us what you have coming up next.
So what you can expect is we're launching new colors. Okay. So the idea, and I haven't really talked about it or gone public with this, but so our next color that we're launching next is a hot purple. And I basically want to create my own version of the rainbow. And those are the colors that I'm going to launch. And so basically in the kettlebell industry, there's a spectrum of competition size kettlebells that there are light pink and then blue and then yellow. And all of these colors, manufacturers know that this is what it is in the industry. Well, I call myself the future of fitness because I actually want to change the whole view and how people view kettlebell and the kettlebell industry in itself. So I'm tapering away from that. That's been going on for such a long time. And that's why I am now launching new colors to, by the way, so cute, to invite women to feel like this is a cool product. This is for me. This is fashionable. This is everything. And, we need a change. It's been decades and decades of decades being the same redundant thing in the industry. And I feel like, I want to bring life to this. I want to bring fashion. I want to bring invitation that this is not a tool that people need to be afraid of, by doing it with colors, people are more inviting to pick up a bell, to buy a bell that is cute and that looks good. And that when they're doing it and with their cute workout gear, it matches their gear. And I really, really just want to push the future of fitness.
I love that. And you know what? I wanted to ask you, why was it so important to you that your business focused primarily on women? Why was that important to you?
So, as you know, women and men are two different species.
Yes.
There are a lot of women that have come to me after years and years and years of training with having male trainers. And every time they meet me, they're saying there is nothing like a female trainer. Nothing.
Yep.
We understand each other a lot better. we know what we go through. We're able to empathize a lot more. We know the women body. I do.
Yeah.
And so having that connection for me, it just comes like second nature. Like me and you instantly just like, we got along.
Yeah. Immediate
Connection, like, you know, and that's the connection I have with everybody I meet, everybody. And I really, you know, I told myself that, okay, by working with women, I'm really cutting my revenue off by 50%, first of all. Do I really want to do that? And then I said, yes, I really want to do that, because it was more important for me to work with women in the past, just being in a male-driven industry. When it comes to fitness and men, not all men, but in my experience, a lot of ego is involved. And in order to do what you do, when you have a passion, the ego has to go. And you don't get too far by having an ego with what I'm doing, with the industry, with talking to people, with helping change people's lives. The ego has to go.
Oh, absolutely.
The warmth, the heart, the love has to come through, the nurturing side, because people come to me and they trust me with being vulnerable. They trust me with, you know, wearing a bikini to check in each week to help them with their nutrition. And also a lot of men, what I found when I did used to cater to men, maybe the first year of my career, they were really reluctant to work with me. They viewed me as a female. I was short. They probably thought I didn't know what I was doing because of the way I looked. And they knew more than me. And it was always that kind of attitude that I was really and am not interested with. Exactly.
Wow. Well, it's amazing. It's amazing that you're doing that, because that's one of the things that even drew me to you. Is it takes all of the guesswork out. She's going to be focused on me and my body. And that's what makes it amazing. Tell us a little bit about the clinics that you offer too, because as you said, a lot of people are kind of intimidated by a kettlebell. So tell us about the clinics.
Yeah. So even before COVID, even before I launched the kettlebell manufacturing stuff, I was offering kettlebell clinics. And kettlebell clinics, we just do 2 hours every month at the end of this month. And it's called the Kettlebell Swing Series Clinic. And we basically digest and break down all the technique, from hand positioning to breathing technique to coordination, hip placement, back placement, mechanics of your body and your bell. And we break it down to where you're able to learn entry level moves plus other moves that normally, you know, you wouldn't be able to just pick up a kettlebell and do. We actually break it down, and it's more of an educational course. And those, I think, were doing really well before COVID. Now we're doing everything on Zoom. So we offer that, you know, just for people who want to buy a kettlebell, have never done kettlebell workout before. This is kind of like a good introductory course that people can do when purchasing a kettlebell. And we also offer, we have YouTube videos that are on YouTube for free, and people can do workouts. And I'm currently working on a new library catalog now. It's been really hard to kind of get in front of the camera, to be honest. And just because I'm not happy with where I'm at right now physically. And for me, like even saying that is monumental, because like I've never said that before.
And that's the thing with, you know, woman to woman, and the importance of us being here and supporting each other and being able to be transparent, because I completely relate with you. This, I know the audience will as well, because I'm coming on camera, right? And I said, I gained 20 pounds in COVID. And so I don't want to get on camera and I'm 20 pounds heavier. I don't feel like the best version of me. So it's a part of all of our journey. And I just really commend you for everything that you've done, for pushing through, all of your struggles that you're having. And I want you to know this from me. I really feel like God's going to use that, for maybe your next level, because this is your first time going through this kind of stress and depression. And now that's something that you can help women with on another level, because experience is the best teacher. So just kind of, you know, dropping that little seed on you, because I feel it for you. I really do.
Thank you. Take that. Yeah, absolutely.
But thank you so much for being here. It's been really amazing. Tell us your Instagram, your website, where we can find you, YouTube as well.
Instagram is at Kettlebell Chicks. YouTube is Kettlebell Chicks. My website is kettlebellchicks.com. And then we also have an anabellsfitness.com. So we have two websites. The kettlebellchicks.com has all the products. We have and those are limited edition, and those actually half of the proceeds go to the NAACP. So we wanted to do something that stood for Black Lives Matter. And that was really big and dear to my heart because we are 100% behind that cause. Will be, always have been, and forever will be. Just wanted to put it out there. That's what we stand for. And that's really important. And it's real with everything that we've been going through, not on top of the pandemic, but every other day we're sitting here and looking at videos of people being killed, Black men, Black women being killed, slaughtered, executed, and children, family members. And so it's hard. And so I wanted to really do something when I launched to kind of dedicate to that cause. And I think that's important. So we also, wanted to do that. So maybe some people don't like hot pink. Maybe guys wanted to buy that too, but we definitely.
No, my husband said something. He picked up the bell and he was like, "Oh, this is a good weight." So, I said it's kind of heavy. And he was like, "This is a good weight. Too bad it's pink." So there it is. Another sale.
That's
he said,
it.
Too bad
Exactly.
it's pink. But yeah. Well, thank you so much, Anabell. We will be watching, I'm watching, supporting you, loving you always from afar, and hopefully I can see you soon. We're just starting to peek out, but thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. I hope to come back on soon.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode of Queen with Standards podcast. We will catch you. Many blessings. Thanks so much for listening to the Queen with Standards podcast. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so other amazing women just like you can find the show as well. You can also head over to my website at jontayrashawn.com and grab your copy of my book. And if you want to learn more about me, you can follow me over on my Instagram page at jontayrashawn. I hope to see you here next week. Many blessings.